The trunk test aims to provide a reliable tool for measuring the joint range of motion to evaluate the mobility of the lumbar spine. The protocol was developed to provide therapists with the data necessary for analyzing functional limitations. To proceed with the new acquisition, from the test section of the patient screen, click on Trunk Test. As shown by the pop-up, to obtain reliable and repeatable data during the execution of the test, it is necessary to correctly position the sensor on the subject to be evaluated. For the trunk test, the sensor must be hooked to the appropriate band and securely placed at the 25% of the distance from the posterior superior iliac spine to C7, between L1 and L2 spinous processes. The pop-ups also guide us in selecting the direction of movement, recording the test, and explaining the test to the patient. For the test result to be considered reliable, it is necessary to explain to the subject how to perform the test. The trunk test consists in 3 movements: flexion extension, lateral bending, rotation. During the acquisition, it is possible to acquire all or only some movement, as requested by the user. The execution of each of the movement is illustrated below. Before starting the acquisition, it will be necessary to select the movement you want to perform. First, we will select the flexion extension movement. Once the patient is ready, start the acquisition by clicking on REC. During the stabilization phase, the patient must remain still, as shown by the stabilization ring. When the bar reaches the end of the progression, the ring disappears, the test begins. Once the selected movement has been performed, then click on Stop to finish the acquisition of the movement. If the test has been acquired correctly, a check is displayed next to the movement performed. At this point, it is possible to select another movement to be acquired. Next, we will perform an acquisition of the lateral bending by selecting the appropriate item. Again, wait until the stabilization ring disappears before starting the test. Once the selected movement has been performed, click Stop to finish the acquisition of the movement. If the test has been acquired correctly, a check is displayed next to the movement performed. Finally, we carry out the acquisition for the trunk rotation by selecting the appropriate item. Once the patient is ready, start the acquisition by clicking on REC. When the bar reaches the end of the progression, the ring disappears, the test begins. Once the selected movement has been performed, click on Stop to finish the acquisition of the movement. If the test has been acquired correctly, a check is displayed next to the movement performed. Once the acquisitions are complete, save the test by selecting the icon depicting the disc. The report page is then displayed, showing the maximum range of movement reached in the 3 directions of movement and the average angular speeds. Furthermore, the operator can add a visual analogic scale to denote if the subject experienced any discomfort for each movement during the test.